It's a big topic. It's called Siyām Ahl al-Aʿdhār. The fasting of the people who are what? Who are excused. The people who are excused are 5 people. 5 types of people are excused. We're going to go through each one. The first one is Al-Marīḍ, the sick person. The second one is the traveler. The third is the woman on her menstruation or postnatal bleeding. The fourth is the pregnant breastfeeding woman. Pregnant and breastfeeding, which is the fourth. And the fifth is the one who became unconscious. يعني المغمى عليه, the one who lost his consciousness. Let's start with the person who is sick. The person who is sick is 2 types. A person who is ill and we hope that they're going to become better from this illness. This person is sick. وَيُرْجَى زَوَالُ الْمَرَضِ. We hope, inshallah ta'ala, this illness is going to go. There's a hope, inshallah ta'ala. Maybe he's got a fever, headaches, upset stomach. Inshallah, we can see that, inshallah, they're going to get better. This individual who has that type of illness, he breaks his fast and he brings it back. That's it. Nothing else. And the evidence for that is فَمَنْ كَانَ مِنْكُمْ مَرِيضًا أَوْ عَلَى سَفَرٍ فَعِدَّةٌ مِنْ أَيَّامٍ أُخَرٍ. That one is simple and easy, right? The second type of person is the person who's got an illness, like there's no hope for them to come be better. That doesn't mean they won't get better, but there's no, doctors are saying you have a chronic illness. An example of that, the scholars put in this category, is the elderly man or the elderly woman. They say that they take the hukum of al-Marīḍ, that's ill, الذي لا يرجى زواله. This is old age, senile individual. He can't fast. This one, the scholars all agree that he can break his fast. There's no dispute that the one who has a chronic illness, he can what? Break his fast. But is there fidya on him or not is a discussion. Fidya we're going to talk about, which is expiation. Does it have to pay expiation or not? There's a discussion regarding that. That which is the strongest opinion, because you can't go through all the opinions, is there is a fidya on that person who's got an illness, chronic illness. Is that the right word? Chronic illness. Is it chronic illness? What's the difference between a chronic illness and a terminal illness? It's going to cause you death. What about chronic illness? They're just ill, but they're not going to die from it. So, but for us, it's also the terminal and the chronic illness are مرض الذي لا يزول برؤه. It's an illness where the person is going to have it, like diabetic person, for example. What is upon that person? Fidya. Now, the question here is that you guys are going to ask, what is the fidya that you have to pay? The fidya is what? Food. The fidya he has to give is what? Food. And what is it that has to give? The food that he has to give. The majority of the scholars hold the opinion, and it's also the view of some of the Shafi'iyah, that there is upon him a mud. How many sa' is a mud? By the way, these measurements is good to know it, right? It's an Islamic measurement. They're very important to know it. By the way, 2 things as a Muslim you should go out of your way to know it. The Islamic measurements that are mentioned in the Quran and the Sunnah, and also the Islamic calendar. So a lot of people, when they look at for example, the zakat, for example, na'am. The zakat is connected to what? The Islamic calendar or the non-Islamic calendar? Islamic calendar. So you need to be aware of the Islamic calendar is, right? So what's the measurement for the mud? No, it's 4 sa', but how much is it kg? 1.5 taqriban. How many people does he feed? 1 per day, which is taqriban 30. You can do it 1 time. That's what you have to do. The amount doesn't change. Ibn Abbas was asked, he said mud. So give them just give them burr or uruz, rice or mendi if you want. Okay, we've understood that point, right? Another thing I want to mention regarding the person who's sick. If a person who fell in the second category recovered, Allahu Akbar, he woke up, doctors looked at, no, you don't have you're not diabetic anymore. Khalas, gone. The chronic illness he had is gone. This individual, does he bring back the fasting he missed? Because remember, we said he doesn't have to bring back the fasting, only fidya is upon him, right? Is it now upon him to bring back the fasting? No, the fidya he gave is enough for him. Remember the feeding that he did, that's khalas, there's nothing upon him. The next one, A person was put in a situation where they had to do helping someone where they had to break their fasting for it. Are they allowed to break their fasting? They're saving the life of another person, but it involves them having to break their fast. It's a must for you to save the Muslim's life. This is very important. I remember a situation, and it really happened, where a sister was drowning and her brother said, I can't touch her. She was drowning. And he said, I can't touch the woman. This is weakness in understanding the religion. The person is dying. You have to go into the water if you know how to swim and save this person and bring them out of the water. You can't say, are we all together? Also, another shocking thing that I saw, subhanAllah, was when earthquake happened, some individuals I heard, they said, some of these women are coming out without no hijab. It's a life and death situation. And some people, they don't have understanding of the deen. Do you understand? With that being said, subhanAllah, there was an amazing situation where one sister, she said she doesn't want to come out unless they throw her hijab, which shows her iman. Allahumma barik. But in the Sharia, when a life and death situation comes, a lot of the ahkam are suspended, brothers. And when a person doesn't understand the religion, that brother was going to watch that sister drown. And he thinks that not touching the opposite gender and etc. applies here. No, it doesn't. The life of this individual is more valuable than all of that. So the fasting is also suspended to save the life of this individual, and you bring it back, and you're not a sinner. You must save that person's life. Does that make sense, brothers? That person just has to bring back their fasting. Let's go to the next point. I want to go through. I'm still talking about the Marīḍ. Now this is the tricky one. What constitutes an illness for a person to say, I'm sick, I can't fast today? We're not talking about the person who's got chronic illness. We're talking about a person who can fast, he's healthy, but this day he feels sick. What is the dhabit for a sick person? Because somebody could just say, I don't feel good. And he just doesn't fast that day. And he uses the excuse that he's sick. What is the illness that the Sharia means that you can break your fast for? If there is mashaqqa, it's the person's weak, the fasting, what's it going to do to the person? It's going to do one of two things to the person. It's either going to increase the pain or it's going to delay the cure. The scholars, they say, now you don't fast. You're ill, now you're sick. Does that make sense? If this fasting is going to increase your pain or it's going to delay the cure, then you can break your fast. Does that make sense? This is now a point I really want us to ponder on. We just mentioned something very tricky here. We just said, if it's going to have a burden on the person, where it's going to now, because that's what it is, mashaqqa, right? You're going to become very sick from it. You're going to become very sick, so your illness is going to either increase or your cure is going to be delayed. Someone might come and say, I'll tell you guys something. I have a job where I go in work at 9 in the morning and I come out at 9 p.m. Hypothetical scenario. And I work in a furnace. I'm the guy who's putting his hand in the fire, flipping the bread, and I do that from 9 to 9. And that is mashaqqa. The mashaqqa you gave this sick person, why are you not giving it to me? Are we all together, brothers? And this man who works from 9 to 9, and in that furnace flipping the bread, and he's saying, I can't do this. I'm thirsty. I need water. I can fast. I don't get sick from it, but it's got weight on me. It's mashaqqa. It's too hard for me. What do we say? He's not ill. He's healthy. But he's like, you can imagine, I'm sweating buckets and I have no water to drink. No, yeah, he has to fast. He has to fast. If he's not ill and he's not sick, just because something is hard is not an excuse. Does that make sense? And we're going to come to it later when we talk about traveling. The reason why the traveler is allowed to break his fast is not because of hardship. Because if you say that, then when the person says to you, I got a private jet, I don't struggle at all. In the airports, I just go through security fast. My passport is taken there 20 minutes before I come. Gates are just open for me. And I didn't even know I went to another country. I don't feel it. Can I break my fast? What are you going to say to him? Is he allowed to break his fast? Okay, next issue is, if you have 23 hours of daytime and only 1 hour of night, you have to fast. If you become sick, and you're not able to, Allah is giving you rukhsah. Just because it's hard is not an excuse. Does that make sense? The ruling doesn't change. As long as there's day and night, you have to follow that. If it's 24 hours, it's daytime, we spoke about that. So then in that 1 hour, they have to pray Isha, they have to pray Fajr, they have to pray Maghrib. And also if they can reach time to pray Taraweeh, they do all in that within that 1 hour. And their qiyam and everything. Okay, let's go to another issue. Someone is scared for his nafs, that the hunger that he's feeling right now, he's worried for himself. He's worried for his physical side. What should he do? He's not sick, but he's really thinking, this is gonna, just after Fajr he realized, I didn't have suhoor and I missed Fajr iftar yesterday, and today I'm already feeling dizzy, but I can go on. What should he do? And he's like, if I carry on like this, I might get knocked out. Inshallah ta'ala. He can base the ruling on ghalabatul dhann. High speculation. Can you base a ruling on that? In the Sharia, high speculation. He's allowed to break his fast, and he will fall under the ayah, وَلَا تُلْقُوا بِأَيْدِيكُمْ إِلَى التَّهْلُكَةِ وَأَحْسِنُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. The religion is easy, brothers. Allah, if you look at this deen, you will actually realize Allah wants ease for us. Sah? Allah wants what? يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمُ الْيُسْرَ وَلَا يُرِيدُ بِكُمُ الْعُسْرَ. Actually, people make things very hard on themselves. They make it what? Very hard. Now,